Well, we'll call this the second video. It's really not the second, folks. It's the first video, but it's the second time I've tried to put words to this video. My voiceover didn't work the first time. I've had trouble getting it uploaded to YouTube, but here it is anyways. This arrived the other day on the farm. I've been waiting for it for a while. I ordered it through Barn World. He was very gracious in getting it to me the way we needed with all the supplies, stickers, packaging, nuts, and bolts. What is it, you ask? It's my hog feeder. I really wanted to get a feeder where I could put several thousand pounds of feed in and really just not have to supervise it so much for my feeder pigs. And I think this is the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to use one of these big wheel Osborne feeders. It's kind of like a fiberglass base with a steel pole in the middle that you mount on. And then it's got this wheel, this part that you're looking at right here. This wheel is surrounded then by kind of a steel cage which holds an upper cone, and then inside the cone, there's another wheel that attaches to that bottom wheel, so that when the hogs stick their head in the bottom and turn that wheel, it turns the wheel up top too, and the up top wheel helps knock the feed down to them. So, obviously, I guess the principle behind the big wheel. It takes a little bit of work, and you do have to do some drilling to put this together, because you have to line up your holes and drill it and through the fiberglass and put your bolts in it. I really wasn't expecting that, so that was a little bit of a shock to me. I kind of thought it would all be pre-drilled and just assemble, but that's okay. I mean, I'm smart enough to figure it out and follow the directions. I'm not saying it was perfect, but I was able to do it. Let's put it that way. The one that I bought, I think it's like 45 bushel or something like that, holds a little over 2,000 pounds. I think if you go to Barn World's website and look up the Osborne Big Wheel Feeder, I think there's several sizes that you can actually look at on their site. So, and it's really got to do with how many rings that you add to the feeder. Okay, so and what I mean by that is the higher you make the silo portion, the more you get with it. But I think 45 bushel, gosh, if I remember correct, I think it does something like crazy, like 90 pigs or some crazy number like that. And it's 55 inches by 62 inches high. It weighs about 300 pounds. And mine probably weighs a little bit more than that, because I went with the fiberglass with the hatch on the top instead of the steel. I was worried with the wind that the steel would be hard to deal with. I was also trying to avoid rust, because I've seen a few of these in the old days rust. So I'm trying to kind of avoid that. These guys that probably use a feeder like this should probably be 40, 50 pounds, at least as far as the hogs you're putting on it, because it's got a fairly good sized lip on it too. So just to kind of note there, it's this company makes them for piglets. This is not a piglet feeder. This is a regular, feeder pig feeder. So probably 50-pound pigs on up. There's that second wheel I'm talking about that you bolt in. So when the bottom wheel turns, the top wheel also turns, henceforth knocking the feed into the hole. And what stops the feed from just plummeting into the hole, as you'll see, will be like a bell cone. I had difficulty reaching into the center of this and getting this thing set right. So my daughter climbed in. I'm not really sure how you do this without somebody climbing in. I really am not. I mean that nicely. It's a little tricky to put together without climbing in it. If you notice too, behind my daughter, you see some scratches there. The unit came with some steel inside it, and the shipping guys kind of banged it around a bit, and the metal did scratch the inside a little bit. But it's fiberglass and didn't go through it. It didn't crack it. This is that cone I'm talking about. You can raise and lower this cone to adjust how much can come down when that device turns. So that's where the adjustability of this comes in. I'm actually running this right now on my pigs. I've had it up for about a week now as I try to get this video going for the second time with actually having words to it. And I've found that the best setting for me is 4. So that seems to let my Let my pig feed go right down to the bottom quite nicely every time they turn it, but yet not so much that it's getting blown away by the wind or over flooding it. So, side note too, the bottom tray does not have any holes drilled in it for water to get out. And you certainly can, and I talked to Barn World, you can certainly put a water hole or two in it at a certain level that's comfortable to you. So far, I'm just kind of watching to see what happens. We've had some rain and stuff with it. It has gotten some water in it, up to an inch or two deep. Pigs don't really seem to care because they eat mash. They just seem to go right through it, and then it dries out. But I am probably going to put a hole so it can't go quite that high soon. I just haven't decided where I want to drill it yet because I'm kind of watching for a few rains to come through and see what it does. When it does rain, it does get wet down there, though. It is not wicking up into the feed, which is really nice. So that's working good. This device here with the two cables is part of the adjustment part of it, if you're wondering what that is. This can be bought with like a base, like a metal base, and that's probably a good thing for most people. I didn't really want a metal base. I was worried it would rust, so I actually mounted this to a green treated kind of base, modeled after their base. And then that green treat base, I'm going to mount to my edge and my posts out there so the pigs can't move it around much. Now, granted, they're probably not going to be able to move it around when the thing is full, but, you know, when it gets light and empty. As you can see here, there's some support brackets that go on the inverted cone. Again, you just have to drill the holes to get those on. My daughters were very helpful in getting in the inside and helping me. You do have to cut some of the steel to put the adjustment arm in. I didn't find that to be the easiest. It is just tin, but I didn't quite have the right snips to get that done. But I did get it done. I followed their little guideline there. I put a couple bolts in the holes and put the paper up and then try to cut it out. Thankfully, this piece is on the outside of your fiberglass, so if you don't cut it quite perfect, it's still nice and waterproof. But it's not the easiest to cut a circle out of this. So I kind of wish that when you bought the bottom section, it came pre-cut. But that's not the way it comes. Either way, we got it done. We were able to get it through and get it up and running. I also like the design of this in the sense that, if I wanted to down the road, I could buy another ring and I could make it taller and I could put even more feet in it if I wanted to. But I think starting off with probably having the mill bring 2,000 pounds for a feeder like this that can hold 2,200 pounds, I think will work actually pretty good. It's a little tricky doing this part. You kind of got to get it level. So you got to get it over that green lip, and then you got to drill these holes along the edges and then screw it down. But it goes on snug, folks. There's no lie to that. It's taut to get it on. We did fight with a little bit to get it down. But once we got it in place, it really did work nice. As far as moving this, it's pretty easy to move with a skid steer once you put your base on it. So that's how you'll see how we moved it. We actually ended up installing it at night because it finally, got it done finally at that time of night. We were able to get it out there. But it's worked out well. This is the apparatus on the outside where you put a dial and they give you a sticker on it. And then that's how you actually adjust it from the outside. I'm just drilling through here some more fiberglass. Again, the hole's already in the tin. You're just drilling through the fiberglass. Then we're putting the top on. The fiberglass top, I think, is nice just because I can just use the hatch to fill it. And we can do that right off the truck when it comes. I also like that the fiberglass top is stronger and heavier, so it won't blow off. The little hatch on it did not have a lock. I chose to put a lock on it so it can't flip open in the wind. Again, if you're putting this inside a barn or you've got it in an area with a lot of trees and you don't have to worry about a lot of wind, it's probably a little overkill. There are 3 braces inside this device, and again, I found it easier to not try to reach around and get my hands in here and try to get to these bolts. I just took one of my daughters and let her climb in, and then we pulled her back out. So she did all the work of trying to hold the nuts and get it done. As far as getting the sticker on, piece of cake. It's a pretty nice sticker, easy to work with. So that went on smooth. It's the Osborne Big Wheel Feeder. This one, like I said, is the 45 bushel, 2,200 pound, 90 head capacity dealie. I'm literally going to put probably less than a half dozen pigs on it to start with. It's actually only going to be 3 because I'm bringing pigs to the farm. Speaking of which, I really do want to show you guys that video of the new pig pen that I've created here on the farm. I think it's going to work out really nice for us. I've done pigs for years on dirt. I've dealt with them trying to get out. I've dealt with them being dirty. I've dealt with them making wallers. And I certainly understand that's fine for some people, based upon how much land you have and how much you can work with. But it doesn't really work for me. So this time I'm making a pig pen, and I'm doing a slat floor version. I'm going to make a floor on it. I'm going to have it slanted so that I can just power wash stuff off. I'm going to have at the bottom side of it a nice house for them. And this is going to go right in it. And it's going to be nice. I only have my feeder pigs here for the summer. They're never here probably more than 100 to 120 days, so this will work out really good for me. As far as where this is going in the pen, we're going to put it right in the middle so they have good access to it. We'll probably push it to start with to one side, even though they're supposed to eat all the way around this. We'll kind of see how that does. If that doesn't go the way we want, we can move it into the middle and let the pigs go around each side of it. We're debating as to how we want to do that. Like a lot of things in farming, folks, it's somewhat trial and error. Maybe you don't always try the right way, but you try the way that you think is going to work best. So for us, that's what we're going to do. As far as feed goes, I'm going to take Famo's hog concentrate, and I'm going to take some corn and grind that all up, and then I'm going to have the mill get me some soybean meal, and I'm putting all that in it, and then that's going to be what I feed them up with. Everybody's got their own technique. We like to use a lot of our leftovers and waste within the kitchen and feed it to the hogs. And again, we'll also have this thing full, so they'll be able to eat pretty much anytime they want. So here it is. We're putting on the final handbar so you can open the top cover, and we're getting that on, and it's turning dark. But that's not going to stop us. We're going to see if we can get this thing in place tonight. It should go good. And, like anything, the first time you put it in place, you got to move it the next day because you look at it and go, that's not where I wanted it. But that's life. That's life here on the farm. This rod just kind of hooks in place. I actually shortened it a little bit just so my kids and my pigs can't play with it quite so easily. But it seems to have worked out really good. So I got that on. We got the stickers on. We got the wheel device on. It comes with a handle. So now we pick it up on the pallet and we slide it out onto the concrete where I'm going to put my pad on it. And it was a late night, but we were able to get it in there as best we could. Like I said, the thing empty weighs at least 300 pounds. The fiberglass is not the lightest, but that's good. I don't really want these pigs, pushing this thing around too much. I don't have the base on it yet, but as you see, I've got the wheel on it there on the outside where you adjust it. I've got it set to 4. The little red cord is just a bungee cord holding the flap down when we drove it down here with the skid steer because I didn't want it wrecking my lock, which I just glued on. I wanted to make sure that that had a chance to dry before it was giving us any trouble. But it didn't, so it did good. So once we got it in here, I went out and I got 1x6s in green treat decking, and that's actually what I make my base out of the next day here. But for what it's worth, you could do this out of metal, and you certainly can buy one of these. This is actually the bottom side of it. I have to flip it over, and then once I got it on this, I put some nice tie downs. I kind of bent them into place and used the spots here they've got that would eventually tied it down to their metal version. And I cranked these suckers right down into place and just really hold this thing right down to the wood. Then I took the one side of this and I latched it into my post and into my edge so they can't slide this thing around very easy. Some great big legs here hold it down. I feel this will be strong enough, hopefully, that the pigs can't destroy it. Well, I say that and then it probably will happen. It rained a little last night, so you can see there's a little water in it. Again, like I said, I have not cut a drain hole or two in it. I know I need to do that. I have not done that, so I will get that. I will get that done eventually. I just haven't gotten it done. So it's kind of part of the process, if you know what I mean. As far as getting this in place and done the way I want, I'd say it went pretty smooth. It took me probably about 3 hours to get it to this point, and then another half hour, 30 minutes to work on the bottom piece. So I can't say it was the fastest project ever, but it was a project. There it is in place. This is the pig pen. I'll have a video review on the whole pig pen here in a little bit. I plan to put it out about the same time. And then it was just a matter of getting feed into it. Now, I'm going to have them fill this by the truck, but because I have to adjust it, and you only want to put a few 100 pounds in to adjust it and get used to it, I decided to pick up some bags of my feed, and I'm just going to dump it in this time by bag. I know it's a buggy night, but I'm gonna dump it in by bag. And once I got the bags in place, then I can do my adjustment on it. And I think that really will be best. I really do. I think having the bags in place first will make it go a lot smoother. So that's my game plan, at least, putting the bags in place and doing it that way first. I think that's the way I want to do it. Again, you can do it any way you want, folks. For me, this was the easiest. Again, I plan on eventually just having the truck drive right up here on the road, put their little auger system in it, and just fill the sucker right up. And again, if I want to put more in, I'll put another level on. So the pigs are here. They seem to be enjoying the feeder. They're a little scared of me here with the camera, but it doesn't take them long to relax, and they come out and they start eating. You sometimes maybe have to teach them how to move it a little bit. For us, that didn't take much. They got in here, got a taste of it. Once it starts getting eaten back, they start bumping the metal and trying to get it out of their way so they can get underneath it. Once they do that, they realize even more comes. So it worked out pretty slick on training them. I know some people say you got to kind of work at it a little bit to get them used to it. I had no problem. These guys right now weigh about 60 pounds, and they had no problem taking those little shovel outs and moving that thing and figuring out how to get it to dump. So the piggies are eating out of it. The big wheel feeder looks like success for me. I'll have to give it a review in a year or two and tell you what I think of it in the long term. But right now, I'm real happy to have it on the farm. I'm happy Barn World was able to get it for me with what I wanted, which is the fiberglass top and the size I wanted. Maybe I'll expand it in the future. I don't know. But either way, I'm real pleased with how it turned out, folks. Thanks for watching and liking. And again, the next video I'll be putting out will be on the actual pig pen. Thanks.